She was charming, intelligent, and seemingly ordinary. But behind the smiles and quiet demeanor lay a story that would shock the nation. Jodi Arias grew up in Salinas, California, a small city surrounded by farmland. From an early age, she faced a complicated family life marked by instability and emotional struggles. Friends described her as ambitious, yet there was always a restless intensity beneath the surface. As she grew older, Jodi pursued education diligently. She enrolled in college, taking classes in photography and art, yet she struggled to find a sense of belonging. It was during these years that she began forming relationships that would ultimately shape her life and lead her down a dangerous path. In 2006, Jodi met Travis Alexander, a charismatic motivational speaker. Their relationship quickly became intense. At first, it seemed like a passionate romance, filled with adventure and shared ambitions. But soon, cracks appeared. Friends and acquaintances began noticing the controlling dynamics between them, the arguments that escalated, and the jealousy that simmered beneath the surface. The day of the tragedy began like any other. Travis Alexander was in his home in Mesa, Arizona, when the events unfolded that would later make headlines across the world. Jodi had traveled to his house under the guise of reconciliation, but what followed was a confrontation that turned deadly. Evidence would later reveal that she inflicted multiple injuries, ultimately ending his life. Investigators pieced together the scene carefully. They found forensic evidence that told a story of struggle and chaos, but without needing to dive into complex technicalities, it was clear that there had been a confrontation. The wounds and blood patterns indicated a violent encounter, while digital evidence from messages and phone records helped reconstruct the timeline leading up to that fateful day. It was a meticulous process, combining physical evidence with the narrative of those who knew both Jodi and Travis. The trial that followed was one of the most sensationalized in recent history. Every detail was dissected in courtrooms and media outlets alike. Jodi testified, describing her version of events, while prosecutors painted a starkly different picture. The courtroom drama was intense, with moments that gripped the public's attention and raised questions about manipulation, obsession, and the nature of violence in intimate relationships. Outside the courtroom, the world was captivated. True crime enthusiasts followed every development, analyzing the evidence, the testimonies, and the media coverage. Psychologists and commentators offered theories about Jodi's behavior, speculating on the underlying motives and psychological patterns that might explain the shocking actions she had taken. In the end, the jury found her guilty. The sentence reflected the severity of her actions, though debates about justice, remorse, and culpability continued in the public sphere. Jodi Arias became a name that would forever be associated with a dark and cautionary tale, one that highlighted the complexities of human relationships and the hidden depths of obsession. Even years later, the story resonates, reminding viewers of how appearances can be deceiving and how a single series of choices can forever alter lives. It is a chilling portrait of love, betrayal, and the dangerous intersections of passion and violence.